Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Jersey Comic Book Podcast, your favorite comic book and pop culture podcast. As always, we are going to discuss what's going on in the world of pop culture and comic books. So pay attention to the description down below. We covered a couple different news topics here. Some spoilers may arise, so watch at your own risk. As always, I'm Rob Moran, and with me is
Chris Heller.
We got a great show for you guys today. So, Chris.
Hello.
How have you been?
I'm good. How are you, Rob?
I'm good. You know, I caught up on a lot of TV shows.
Haven't seen you since the last time I wore this shirt.
When was that?
The last time we did an episode, apparently. Apparently I don't change, so it's quite odd.
Really?
Yeah, you haven't changed either. You were wearing that shirt, I believe.
No.
Such a coincidence. Look at that.
Oh my God, I'm so dumb. Because we recorded stuff before this.
Yes, that's the joke.
I was like, I didn't wear this last week, did I? I was legit like, wait a minute.
Cut everything, I have to change.
I have to. You know, we should have like a uniform.
I kind of do. I wear stuff that we kind of talk about.
Yeah, I know. Like, we wear like nerdy, like pop culture shirts.
Yeah.
Or like sometimes I don't, but like, I think we should get like a uniform.
A uniform. I want a uniform.
Like a Jersey Comic Book like uniform shirt.
Maybe.
And like a matching hat. Like Scoops Ahoy.
Like Scoops will look like Scoops.
I mean,
oh man.
What would our uniform be like?
I don't know. Maybe like a symbol t-shirt with our logo on it.
So lame.
Is it though?
Somebody who's good at designing clothing,
Tell us what to wear.
Yeah.
Tell us what to wear.
You know what? We'll do like a shot, like a dress montage. We'll have a couple failed like exercises. We'll like have a Batman suit on, a Superman, and then
a puffy pirate shirt.
Yeah, and then the final like design. Yo, if it's just a t-shirt, cool. But if you have like a full ensemble, let us know.
A full ensemble.
I won't wear the full ensemble unless they might be like, you know what,
couplings,
and then like cool t-shirt. I'm like, I can do jorts. I'm wearing jorts right now.
So what's up, man? How you been? What's going on?
Aside from daydreaming about fashion, nothing. Finished, Stranger Things. Yep.
Well,
I watched a lot of that.
Yeah, we talked about
Swamp
that.
Thing.
Oh, I still have to catch up last week.
I'm behind on comics, so I got to read some.
Yep. That's definitely
caught up on
plus.
some animes, which is good. Just caught up on.
Should have caught up on comics, but whatever.
I know, but it's visual. So
whatever. No.
Caught up on Fairy Tale, so it was good.
Okay, no. But not comics, So
I know.
Just saying, it's kind of what we do. Just saying.
It's all
just saying, it's what we
relevant.
do.
What have you been up to?
Oh,
I saw Hellboy. Wasn't that good?
Oh, nice. Saw Toy Story 4.
How was that?
It was good. It was. It's very interesting at the ending.
Okay.
I'm not. Don't worry. No spoilers. It's good. It's very heartfelt. It has a lot of those Toy Story elements are just the reason behind the toys doing what they do, and the reason for certain toys doing certain things. I'm trying not to give anything away.
Okay.
The ending was a little blah for me. I was kind of disappointed, because it sets up this whole theme and then kind of goes back on it.
Okay.
So it's one of those you got to see it for yourself. I was kind of in the realm of okay if Toy Story 3 was the last one, because it was so good and so heartfelt, and the ending is so great.
I'm the same way, but I'm interested to see the fourth. I'm gonna probably watch it within the next day or two.
Yeah, so we saw it. I took Erica to see it. She had the same viewpoint that I had. Key and Peele were great.
Yeah.
As those like stuffed animals.
I heard they stole the show.
Hilarious.
Okay.
Really hilarious. Keanu was also great as Duke. Not Nukem. Was it Nukem? Duke Kaboom. Who is the Canadian version of a Daredevil of what's his face?
I'm not helping you. You should know this.
Evil Knievel.
There you go.
And so he's the Canadian version, but like he never makes the jump. He always crashes. So it's really funny. But he was awesome. And the toys are always awesome. The story was pretty good. So yeah, but I personally think Toy Story 3 should have been the ending.
To sum up, Hellboy, a lot of cool stuff, a lot of good potential. The writing hurt the show. Movie.
Yeah, I think that's what a lot of the critics said too, right? Like it was just like cool.
David Harbour wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
The writing really took you out of it.
That's rough.
But moving on, guys, we got a lot of stuff we want to talk about here.
Yes.
So first up, got some rumors for you.
Oh.
I got a little sneak rumor.
Rumors.
So I heard.
Okay.
From my girl down at the store.
At the store? No specific store, just the store. It's simply called the store.
That Daisy Ridley.
Ooh, I love Daisy Ridley.
Ray.
Yes.
From Star Wars fame.
Not like Ray Charles, just Ray.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ray, we know she's going to be related to Skywalker.
Ray, also known as Skywalker.
Ray is rumored to be top choice for Batgirl.
Ooh.
For DC.
Yeah.
Personally.
Yes.
I think it's a cool idea.
Mm-hmm.
I think she has the physicality for it. I think she has the acting chops. I just hope they give her the red hair. And I'm all for it.
Agreed with the red hair 100%. It has to have red hair.
Yeah.
But I think she's one of those people that could pull kind of almost any hairstyle off.
Like me.
Totally. Yeah. So, yeah, that's interesting. Daisy Ridley is Batgirl. I don't think she's too old because I think she could play.
I think she could play it.
Kind of like that
she has
young
a young face.
20s and
Yeah.
she's younger. She's only like
40?
No, I think she's like maybe 30, if not like in the late 20s, kind of like we are.
Speak for yourself.
I think
am 21.
I am 12. So I think she has that, and the acting chops are clearly there. I think it'd be interesting for her to jump like from a major franchise to a major franchise. Again, not really sure if we need a Batgirl movie.
Maybe it's not a Batgirl. I know they were working on a Batgirl movie, but this could always be a Batgirl in the DC universe or whatever they're doing.
And if they do Batgirl, I hope they do focus on the character of Barbara Gordon as well.
I just hope that she doesn't bang Bruce on the rooftop like they did.
I don't think she will. No, I don't think that will happen. But I hope it does focus on Barbara as well as Batgirl and that story and conflict with her dad being Commissioner Gordon, and you know, whether it's working with Batman, he works with Batman and she hasn't told him and Bruce hasn't told him and it's this huge secret. That's a big one. Yeah, I'd be all for Daisy Ridley being Batgirl personally. I'm all for it. I think it'd be really cool. I think it'd be, even though it's actiony and kind of like superhero-y, it's way different than like Jedi. It's still very different from the realm of Star Wars to be in that realm.
So Star Wars is more super sci-fi. This is more action-based.
Yeah, that's way sci-fi than this.
So, I got some more news for you. In the world of comic books, a big comic book storyline and story and run and everything is ending. The Walking Dead is ending with issue 163.
193.
What'd I say?
163.
Yeah, 193.
Actually, it's also over already. It's not ending. It is over.
Oh, okay, relax.
Well, you told me every time if I correct you, I have to be comic book guy.
You do.
So I know. So.
Doesn't mean
which I love doing it as well. So.
It doesn't mean that I can't combat you back. Like, geez, comic book guy.
Geez, comic book guy. I'm not even going to acknowledge you as Chris when you do it.
Yeah, you're a comic book guy.
I read comic book guy whatever.
And I feel like nobody's talking about it. The sales were declining for quite a long time.
I feel like they talked about it quickly.
Huh?
Like when it happened, it was like, oh my god, this is happening. And then it was like... You know.
The issue before this, spoilers.
Big spoilers.
Rick dies. And like nobody kills him, pretty much. Like, so in the world of Walking Dead, it's a little bit more far. Well, no, it's obviously farther than this TV show. They're in a place. They take the people from Sanctuary and they move into this new, almost like utopia,
new community.
There's like 50,000 people there. It's the beginning of like civilization. They have amenities. They have fun activities.
It's the renaissance of humankind.
Exactly. They have football teams. I think he got tired of it, and that's why he ended it.
Yeah,
Robert Kirkman was like, all right, you know what?
No, like he was planning on ending it.
He was.
I think 2 reasons. Number one, when you like any book that's ending or last issue or last run becomes a marketing grab bag of variant covers of
course,
oversized issues of over ordering. I think Robert Kirkman wanted this to mean something. I think he wanted the end of Walking Dead of the book, like whether you like the show or not, has nothing to do with this comic.
True. There's a lot of different things.
Yeah, like Walking Dead #1 is already probably worth like $600 to $700. It's an extremely expensive book because of obviously the show, but I think he wanted this issue to mean as much as it did back when the book came out and it got really popular. I think that's why he didn't say anything, because there's not going to be like, the sellers did not know it was the last issue. No one knew until he was like ready to say it and it came out. So whoever has one, it's more valuable now to those fans who were collecting this book for the entire run.
I think Walking Dead didn't really take off until the show. And I felt like before the show,
I mean,
like it was a fine book. Like some people, like I barely even like
the early one's really good. Like the early book is really, really good.
And I also know that Robert Kirkman, created this because he worked at DC, worked at Marvel, he wanted to do his own creative thing.
Went to Image.
Forget this, I'm just going to make it myself. So, all props to him, and I want other people to follow his footsteps. But this book and a lot of others that we're seeing in today's society are only really getting that big jump in popularity. Though they might be popular in their own right, but for it to become a phenomena like it was because of the TV show. Like Witcher. Think of it like Witcher 3.
Yeah.
Like nobody cared about The Witcher until that third game, and the books have been coming out since like we were kids. And then there's always these there's talks that people have this opinion that Robert Kirkman, the same thing, guy who wrote The Witcher, and others that like, only became popular because of the show, and it kind of puts a sour taste in their mouth. I don't think that's true.
I mean, tough either way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it is what it is. Like, if you create something, and especially in book form, like look at J.K. Rowling, right? She came from nothing. Mm-hmm. She wrote the idea for Harry Potter down on a bar napkin in England and created these multi-million-dollar franchise, and now is a multi-billion-dollar franchise.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, like, she went from a napkin idea of, like, hey, I'm a writer, this is kind of what I want to do in this realm of magic, and the school and this character.
She created the world.
And created the world and created the characters, then did the books, got the movie deal with Warner Brothers, and now it is a multi-billion-dollar franchise. There's the Harry Potter world at Universal, where you go to Diagon Alley with the dragon. Like, it is now everywhere.
Correct me if I'm wrong. She had all the books written and then went to a publisher, or she had one written and then went to a publisher?
No, she went to the publisher with,
just
like,
the first
I'm pretty sure the first one in a plan to do this series. Like, she planned the whole thing out. Very George Lucas style of, like, these are how many books they're going to be.
Okay.
So, like, there's nothing wrong with something getting more popular because of how good it is from its original form.
No, I understand.
Whether or not that translates on screen, obviously TV shows a lot different than a movie. Movie's going to be way more, usually closer to the material because you only have a certain amount of time. TV shows can go off the rails, like the show for Walking Dead kind of has. But there's nothing wrong with that. And if you get something more popularized through that, like look at comics now, right? Like me and you were reading comics way before any of this got popular. You know what I mean?
When it got to this level of popularity.
Well, no, like I was reading comics back, since I could read. That stuff. All we had in the 90s were cartoons, right?
Yeah,
and
that's all I watched. Yeah.
And I was reading books from the 80s and the 70s and the 60s still. Actual comics that we never thought would have movies, television shows, miniseries, maxi series, Netflix contracts, MCU, all this stuff. There's nothing wrong with that getting popularized and one thing helping another.
Okay.
I think the problem is what we've always talked about, right? Crossing and see who dictates who. As for Robert Kirkman and this run, it's a historic run in comics. Whether you liked Walking Dead, whether you didn't like Walking Dead, whether you like the show, you don't like the show, you still watch the show, you don't. It's a historic run in comics, and he should be applauded for what he's done. And the way he's kept it in that comic realm of like, yeah, I'm ending the series. It should just be a normal comic book ending. Let's not make this about variants. Let's not make this about how many units we could sell. Let's not make this. I mean, it's already going to be up in value now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like, let's make it about the fans who stuck around this whole time. Let's make it about the people who read every single issue and have 1 through 193.
It's just a testament of somebody's will. You know what I mean?
100%.
Because like he was getting bogged down where he was. He got the chance to become free, and then it paid off.
100%.
So that kind of like speaks to me very strongly. Like, don't worry. Like these Cinderella stories,
of course,
that you hear. Like this is another one. Like, he created this world because he had no other choice.
Yeah, and it's a visionary, right? Like we think about stuff like this even for our show, like this, all the time, right?
Yeah,
working at it, doing what you love. Figuring things out,
honing the skills, making things better,
practicing, figuring things out, networking, doing new things with tech, like all this stuff that we've been doing. You look at this show 3 years ago. There's no camera. We're not seeing you.
We didn't have these kind of mics.
These kind of mics, no. I remind, like I look at it every day. The old Radio Shack mic that we had.
Oh, that's the snowball.
The snowball that's in my office at work. I look at it every day to remind me, like, yeah, that's where we started.
We should bronze it.
We should dip it in 24 karat gold.
Oh my god, we don't make any money off this. No, we can't do that.
No.
I was joking with the bronze. I was just gonna melt like a Snickers over it.
But like,
I think we could get a jar of like Hershey's chocolate syrup and we don't need to melt the Snickers. All right, guys, relax. We'll eat the Snickers.
We'll eat the Snickers.
We can chocolify it.
But regardless, like that stuff, again, just like not comparing us to J.K. Rowling, but that's the trajectory, right? Wherever
we're coming for you.
Wherever you start, you should progress sometimes. You know what I mean? Like take everything's in baby steps. So yeah, like applause to Robert Kirkman for fighting through all this stuff. Now he's one of the chair of Image. He's up there with McFarlane and Silvestri and all these guys.
Yeah,
and he's created something and has made crazy amount of money. And it's still going to make him money because the show's not over. And then they're going to do movies and whatever else. But great comic run, good for him.
Are you now? My question to you, as a fan of comic books, as a fan of zombies,
as a fan of zombie,
I know you don't collect this book.
I don't.
Single issues. Now that it's over, are you going to get like those big omnibuses and try to get all of it?
I do have the early omnibus of it. I have,
but like remember, there's like a whole bunch of omnibuses like this thick,
$150, $200 hardcover.
And there's a bunch.
I would love to.
Are you going to do that down the road?
I might. Yeah, I would love to get the entire run in one omnibus book.
I don't think it's going to be one omnibus. It has to be multiple. No, 193 issues.
I think they're going to make one that's like super collector's edition. $300
maybe.
You know what I mean?
Would you do that for his other creation, Invincible?
Ooh, Invincible. I'd probably get paperbacks of Invincible.
Yeah,
I do like
not single issues or like the trade paperbacks.
The trades.
Okay.
The trades. I'm a big trade guy. I like trade paperbacks.
I do too.
If I'm getting a hardcover of something,
it's got to be like.
Yeah, I like the last hardcover I have omnibus is probably Rick Remender's Hawkeye run.
Okay.
That epic, amazing Hawkeye run that I have.
Yeah.
That's the last big omnibus I got.
Okay.
So I have to really, really like be engaged with something and really
love
enjoy.
it.
Yeah.
The last thing I have,
and also not have it in single issue form.
Fair enough.
Because I'm not someone who buys something twice.
I have the last thing I got was the current run of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Those they're not omnibuses, but they're the hardcovers, and they collect a bunch. I think like 12 issues per, so it's going to be a bunch. But
like I have those hardcovers of the old Superman Batman run from the early 2000s, the Mike Turners. And Jeff Loeb, one of my favorite storylines, the Supergirl arc with Apocalypse and the Amazons training Supergirl and Supergirl's origin retold, and then the huge fight on the Kent farm.
Okay.
Batman in the mech suit fighting Darkseid. Like, I love those. So I have those in like the old original hardcovers, but each volume. So yeah, it depends on what you like. I probably will definitely like look to get this omnibus for an epic, amazing run.
I think for anybody who's a fan of horror comics for zombies and just
monsters, zombies,
even just comics alone, I think this is going to be a good run to get.
Yeah, and I think Walking Dead was definitely in the ground floor of bringing that back, right? Like if you look at the 70s when horror movies were a big thing and monsters were a big thing, you had a lot more monster books in Marvel and comics in general.
You had Dracula, you had Frankenstein, you had
all these characters. Man-Thing came out, Swamp Thing came out, and it created this dark universe. And I think
now we're going back to it.
Kirkman kind of gave that a renaissance with the zombies, and now Swamp Thing's a bigger thing now. And we have a TV show about Swamp Thing as well. So
got canceled, but still,
yeah. Still, well, we'll see. Hopefully, it gets revived. We'll talk about that later. But yes.
Oh, sorry. Finish your thought.
No, I was just gonna say, again, applause to Kirkman, phenomenal run. And I absolutely respect how he ended this book, where it was very humbly not trying to get like, hey, there's 17 variants of Walking Dead 193. Everyone did a variant. Make sure you collect all of them for $7 each, and the 1 in 500 that's $350 and all this crazy shit. So I really think it was cool in a classic way of just like, oh yeah, it's ending. This is it. Like if you're a fan, you already got it. You're already getting it, and you have it on day one, and it's going to be worth a good amount of money. So.
Speaking of the dark universe and dark comics, I have some news for you.
Ooh.
Our favorite Hellblazer, John Constantine, the Dark Magician from the DC Universe, is going to
Wait, John Constantine's the Dark Magician this whole time in Yu-Gi-Oh?
Yeah.
Man. I like that card so much better now.
Yeah, so it's worth a lot more.
Just smoking a cigarette on the card.
Yeah, that'd be great. He's going to be joining the Sandman Universe in the comic book. So that's originally where he came from.
Yes.
Many of you may or may not know. So Sandman used to be its own imprint in Vertigo Comics. Mm-hmm. John Constantine came from there, was so popular, DC brought him into their main universe.
Yes.
Now that Vertigo is being reabsorbed into DC, Sandman is going to have essentially its own mini universe in the world, and we're going to see John Constantine back in that universe.
I love it.
Yes, I love it. I think it's great. Paying homage to where he first started,
and
more stories for that Sandman universe is always good.
And I also think it's a very good idea for DC, and I know a lot of people are like, fuck this, like Vertigo should still live on. It's a different time.
I think Vertigo, if they did not do this, was going to die.
I think so too. And
because not a lot of people were getting it.
No, it didn't have a renaissance. I mean, people are picking up the new Sandman book. It's never going to be Neil Gaiman's from the original, even though he's a part of this.
Yes, he is.
I think bring it into it is almost like doing what Marvel's doing in the movies, right? You have your space, your Earth, your science, your teams here. Marvel has the Avengers. They have the Inhumans. They have the X-Men, Fantastic Four. They have, Guardians now. Like, they have all these sectors. DC's sector is really only usually focused on the Justice League and how expanded that Justice League is.
Yeah,
right?
There you go.
Arguably, the teams are... Obviously, Justice League is your main. Arguably, you have the Dark Justice League with all the darker characters and your Teen Titans. Those are really the only teams.
Teen Titans, now Titans.
Yeah, those are the really main teams, right?
Yeah, it's just different versions of the...
But if you bring in the Sandman universe from Vertigo and you create that as its own aspect, they brought in, the Watchmen from their universe, and they're expanding it. You're expanding the DC universe.
I'm still iffy on that, but yeah.
We'll see how that pans out because it's not over yet, but... You're expanding the universe with your own properties and kind of just bringing them into that one aspect. Yeah. So I think it's a good idea, and you could have Constantine be that bridge, right? You could bridge that from Sandman getting into the universe. We saw that conversation what Sandman has with Batman, I think it was.
Yeah.
And you have that bridge gap. You have that. You have John Constantine could still be, talking to Zatanna and flirting with her.
We can still have... Because Sandman's having its own Netflix series. We can see John Constantine on the Netflix universe.
Hopefully it's Matt Ryan because he's awesome.
That'd be great.
That's Constantine.
But for me, this just bodes well because this could fall under any one of their imprints because they have DC for Kids, they have DC, then they have DC Black Label.
Yeah.
We can see the Sandman universe completely in the Black universe.
Yeah, we could.
DC Black because that's for more mature readers. And to see...
Which I think it is going to be in the Black Label.
I'm not 100%.
Not 100%, but I think it will be.
But just to see Constantine interact with Sandman and be the bridge to bring these two universes together, just a smart business.
Yeah, and going back to his original title of Hellblazer, I think is really smart and nostalgic because fans, huge fans of Vertigo will be like, all right, at least it's Hellblazer. It's not like John Constantine #1 or something.
And it's also good for new fans because a lot of them would know, oh, John Constantine is the Hellblazer. What does that really mean? Yeah. You're going to find out in this limited run.
Exactly. And I think it's one of those characters who a lot of people love. Even though he's not a Batman, he's not a Superman, he's not a Wonder Woman or a Harley. He is a character that a lot of people like. He is very human. He is very normal. He's very, has human issues and qualities with his faith. To me, he's kind of like DC's version of Daredevil a little bit, where he has a lot of faith-based questions. He kind of, doesn't know if he believes in this or this. He kind of does actions. Not as far as the characters, obviously. Daredevil's a badass ninja and Constantine's a magician, basically.
No, but
But those faith-based things, Constantine believes in a higher power. He believes in, good and evil and the fight between the spiritual realm. Daredevil's very spiritual as well, and he believes in that stuff and the gods and stuff. So I think...
I can see the comparison.
Yeah, I think it's going to be an interesting book. It's going to be extremely interesting if they bring Sandman into that book as well, or Constantine into the Sandman book or whatever, Dreamer or however they're going to do it. But I think it's a really good idea.
Got some more news for you. In the world of DC, DC's Black Label is getting 2 new books.
Ooh.
So by creator of the Black Hammer universe, Jeff Lemire.
Love Jeff Lemire.
Is joining DC for 2 limited series on Black Label. The first one is going to be Joker Killer Smile.
Okay.
The second one is going to be The Question, Death of Vic Sage.
Ooh, okay.
So Vic Sage is the question. The question is this faceless entity, this person, a detective. It's going to take place in the 1930s, and it's pretty much going to be a character-driven story. It's going to teach new fans and old fans more into the mythos of the Question, redefine who he is, and get a whole new audience.
Yeah, I'm all for it, and Jeff Lemire is amazing.
Very good writer.
For those of you who are mostly mainstream, he wrote Extraordinary X-Men for that run.
He did.
He's done a lot of independent stuff. Black Hammer is one of the one he did. He is a really good writer. Loves to do kind of his own thing. So if he's doing this for DC, this is something that he's like, they're kind of letting him do. Yeah. And be like, yeah, do you. Which is a good idea. It seems like there's a lot of Joker stuff going on. Obviously, the movie's coming out in October, right?
No, I get that. Joker is probably one of the most popular characters, though.
True, but the best part about Joker for me is that he doesn't show up all the time.
Yeah.
And that we have breaks from Joker.
Having a Black Label story with Joker sounds great.
Agreed, and I'm all for it. I'm going to pick it up.
Yeah, of course.
But
I'm picking both of these up.
This is interesting. This seems like he's going to like kind of not go through his origin, but kind of like how he's in Arkham, right?
And how he like tortures a different therapist, not Harley Quinn.
That's not Harleen?
Yes.
Okay.
So it's going to be that, like, because obviously Joker has done this before to other people, not just Harleen, and then we can see the.
I mean, this could be part 2. Like, this could be like Batman, like he did it to Harley, and he comes back after Batman catches him again. He does it to someone else in a different way. Could. Like, you know, it's going to get into the psyche of the Joker. But yeah, you could kind of tell, like, hey, there's a movie coming out. There's going to be a lot of Joker stuff going on. To me,
having Jeff Lemire do these 2 books
and question, we haven't had a question book in forever.
Exactly. I think it was he went to DC. He's like, I want to do something for you guys. They were like, okay, you might have a Joker story. I think maybe Jeff Lemire is like, oh, I have a cool Joker story for Black Label I want to do. Like, okay, cool, but you have to do the question for us, or vice versa. Like, I think he probably had a question story that he really wanted to do. But like, all right, you could do question, but we also need you to do a Joker story.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know, because I feel
that's kind of how it reads to me.
I don't know if it reads like that to me. I feel like it's like one or the other, and he's like, yeah, I kind of have an idea. It's like, oh, well, we had an idea for this, and maybe we could combine ideas, and you could do this. Or like, I don't think it's just like, you have to do this for us if you're going to do this.
It's worded that way. They're like, all right, you might have a great question story.
Yeah.
We kind of have one for Joker. What do you think of it? You want to do this one too?
And like, I think that's how conversations start, and writers, they'll start going like, what about this idea? And they're like, oh yeah, I like this. What about this? And it's like, okay, now I want to do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, or he could have had both ideas and been like, hey, I want to do this and this. Obviously, it's very opposite. Questions like very like detective / conspiracy theorist.
And I like that it's a timepiece because it's going to be in the 30s.
It's going to be in the 30s, so it's a huge detective piece for the question. So do you know how many issues that one is? Is it going to be limited, I'm guessing?
I don't know.
I mean, if it's Black Label, most likely
I think it's... I
want six or 9, something like that.
I want to say 6, but don't quote me. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't remember.
But I mean, regardless, a question story we haven't really had. We see him in Event Leviathan right now.
Yes.
And doing like kind of the background on that.
We saw him in Detective 1000 too.
Saw him in Detective 1000.
He was in that old school. Maybe we'll find out why he's immortal.
If he's immortal, yeah.
I think he is.
We'll see.
I don't know.
Yeah,
maybe it's a mantle that gets passed down.
Maybe. I'm all about it.
I don't know a lot about the question, so I'm excited for this.
Yeah, I'm all about it. I was a huge fan of the question in the 90s. Very odd, but very interesting.
Did he have a villain exclamation point?
Not necessarily.
No. Oh my God. Wait, who's his villain? Or should I just wait to the book?
I'd wait to the book. I think there was a storyline where he went up against Riddler.
Who's the real question? That's cool.
Yeah, like he went up against Riddler a couple times, I think. But it was mostly like normal detective stuff, like finding like serial killers that like something too small for the big superheroes to go into.
Okay.
But in a very odd conspiracy way that connected to like bigger things and stuff. Like,
oh, that would be cool to see them go head to head.
Yeah, so it's I hope they do something like that again. Like I'd love to see a modern day like Riddler versus Question, like Battle of the Minds type deal.
That'd be really dope.
That'd be cool.
All right, I got a huge topic for us.
Ooh, I like huge topics.
I bet he does.
You're dumping him, huh? Like a huge topic. What the fuck? 17-inch topics?
Yeah, Subway sandwich 17-inch.
Those things aren't even 10.
Yeah.
Wasn't there a controversy about the footlongs not being a foot long?
Oh,
people were like flipping the hell out.
That they're quote unquote no longer doing the $5 footlong?
Why? Because they're cheap?
It's never $5, just so you know. I never got a $5 footlong.
I don't eat Subway, so.
It's terrible.
Yeah, I know. That's why I don't eat it.
I've done it once in a blue moon.
I get real sandwiches.
Oh.
Well, yeah, it's healthier.
Same thing.
No, it's not. They got like yoga mat crap in it. Or is that the McRib?
Maybe the McRib.
Maybe it's a McRib. Right. I don't know.
But we got to talk about HBO has a huge announcement. Something's coming 2020, and it is called HBO Max.
Let's do it.
You might be sitting there. What is HBO Max?
Who's Max?
Yeah, who is that?
Who is Max?
Was he in Stranger Things? Yes. Wasn't that the son of Goofy in a Goofy movie? Yes.
Was it?
But yeah, Max. Goofy.
I don't remember. I haven't seen him forever.
You just broke me. I was like, wait.
He's like,
you haven't seen the Goofy?
The record just skipped.
I thought you told me you never seen a Goofy movie. Is such a good movie.
I've seen Goofy movie. I just haven't seen it in a long time. I don't remember that his son's name is Max.
Do you remember the songs from it?
Barely, no. Not really.
It's okay.
Anyway, HBO Max is coming out next year.
So, what HBO Max is, it's a new streaming service from HBO. Now, a lot of you might be like, all right, we have HBO Go. It is the evolution of HBO Go.
The evolution.
HBO Go just evolved to its final stage.
Its
HBO
power's
Max.
over 9,000.
So it is going to have all of Warner Media's platforms included. So that means it's DC. I'm reading it just because there's a lot. There's DC, Cartoon Network, HBO, and even more. So we're going to see TV shows, 10,000 hours of content drawing from Warner Brothers, New Line, DC, CNN, TNT, TBS, True TV, The CW. Yes, The CW. We're going to have Turner Classic Movies. Yes, Cartoon Network, Adult Swim, Crunchyroll for all you anime nerds like me out there, Rooster Teeth.
You always have to mention that.
I do.
I don't like it.
It's fine.
I don't like it at all.
And Looney Tunes.
It's not about you.
This show is because I want to talk about. Of course, it's about me.
He's like Crunchyroll for all like me. It's not like I'm like DC for all you Superman fans. Like it's like.
Well, obviously, this is a comic book show.
Rob and I argue about how snobby anime people are, but anyway, Rooster Teeth I think is honestly one of the most interesting.
I was surprised, but that's awesome. I didn't even know Rooster Teeth was in that umbrella.
Me neither. So what you said, like HBO Max is the evolution of HBO. Yes, HBO is owned by Warner.
I don't know how I forgot.
I don't think we forgot. I think I didn't forget that. I think it was so when we were a couple weeks ago, when we talked about DC Universe and Swamp Thing being canceled and what they needed to evolve and we knew there were plans for this new streaming service that Warner Brother wanted to do. HBO was never on my radar.
Boom. No.
Because HBO is so uniquely its own.
Yes.
And it's so uniquely specific and it's so uniquely like special and very successful on its own. It's the number one premium cable network ever. And all their shows usually win like 18 awards a year for like 14 different shows. Even with Game of Thrones ending, like no one's worried about HBO like falling behind.
No. The fact
I never thought Warner Brothers would touch HBO on the basis of like changing anything, because in my head I'm like, why fuck with a good thing? But this sounds amazing.
The fact that Warner Brothers want to create a streaming service for all the things, and they didn't call it Warner Max or whatever.
Yeah.
They used the good name of HBO.
WB something plus whatever.
They could have had the same thing with a different name dealing with Warner, and it would have bombed. Yes. I told you, it would have bombed. No, I don't care if you're like, has Game of Thrones, has this. No. The fact that they have the branding of HBO and they're going with that, brilliant.
This might be the smartest thing Warner Brothers has done since purchasing DC.
I can't believe I'm reading off the list and I can't believe what things I forgot. Like Crunchyroll, Cartoon Network, Adult Swim, TNT, TBS.
So let's just
under this.
So let's just go through some of the things we know, right? And there's a lot we don't know because this is again spring 2020 is around where it's coming. Number one, DC is going to go. That doesn't mean DC Universe is being absorbed by this at all.
It could, and I'd be fine with it.
They already said it's not.
I know, but I'm just saying.
But you know why? Because I think of the comic book reading on it.
Yeah.
So we know. So like shows like we know that. Specifically, Doom Patrol will be available on HBO Max and DC Universe.
So let me ask you a question.
Mm-hmm.
So with the HBO Max and DC Universe, I'm just assuming because they haven't figured out the details.
Yeah.
I'm going to be like, all right,
or they haven't announced it, whatever.
Right. If I think it should be if I get HBO Max, I think that should have a free membership to the DC Universe app.
I think so too. Or it should allow me to watch the shows
on both.
And their price is lowered if you want to read the comics on DC Universe.
Okay.
Because I think that's what's holding them back from absorbing DC Universe, right? Like, you're not going to be able to read the comic books and download books from HBO Max or HBO Go or whatever.
You still have to pay for them if you have the DC Universe app.
Yes.
You still have to buy
the book.
Or they're discounted.
But I think as far as the shows go, if you're offering all those shows on HBO Max, there's not going to be a big market, even less of a market for DC Universe.
The reason I say that it should be included, and it makes sense, because when you get Hulu, you get Spotify for free.
Interesting.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You get like the premium Spotify. It's in the same world. Like this, cool, you had the DC Universe for the comics and stuff like that.
Okay.
And it should be, I think, if it's under this, HBO Max. And like you said, Doom Patrol's on both. There's no reason why that you go to DC Universe app, you shouldn't be able to watch them on both.
Yeah.
Some people might be like, I don't care about the comics, but I want this TV show. But you can watch it on HBO or each version.
For most people like us.
Me. Yeah, you.
And I know you read comics online.
I do. I love it.
I read them. hardcore collector, I'm still picking up the paper.
Oh, I buy trade backs.
And I know you buy trade backs. I know certain issues you go buy.
I still have to support that.
But regardless of that, right? Like, people who are still reading comics in the comic form and not reading them off the DC app, which is most people who read comics still.
Yeah.
If DC shows are now on HBO Max as well, there's no reason for DC Universe app, because the DC Universe app is already struggling, and which is why they redid this. Number 2, it's still not accessible everywhere. Number 3, it's not marketed enough. Even though the shows are really good, there's just a bad taste in the mouth of how this came out.
I would leave the app up as a hub for the super DC fans. So I would obviously make it more available.
Lower the price.
No, I mean, I would say I would have it free with HBO Max. That's me. My vision. I'd have the shows on both contents, the comics there, the forms and everything there. I want it to be more like the social media aspect of the DC world. I like that fact. I think it's smart, especially if you have this app. You could do that. I think it'd be easier though if it's gone. It's all under HBO Max.
I think so too.
But I like the branding of DC Universe. I think on the HBO Max, if you get rid of the app, it should be a playlist called DC Universe for all the shows. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like a subsidiary branding name, because that brand, I like the branding name of DC Universe. I think that could be under the HBO Max and it'd be good. I think it'd be fine.
Yeah, I think it's fine too. I just if we're doing HBO Max, right, and all this content, and it's going to open with over 10,000 hours of content.
Oh my God, Cartoon Network show alone, Conan.
Yeah, like even just HBO content by itself. So like the good news is, the best part for me is, like, so I have cable still, mostly for live sports.
Yeah, you're gonna get rid of it.
And cable I already have HBO in my package. This will not cost anything extra.
No.
Oh. So I already have HBO. Like, I have a smart TV and I have HBO Go on my smart TV as, like, an app, just like Netflix or anything else. That will automatically change to HBO Max, and I don't have to pay anything extra for a service I'm already getting, as well as like the channels on TV. So the millions of people who already have HBO will get this as well.
Brilliant.
So that's also great.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
In the term, like, out of all of these, the only one I'm aware of would be Crunchyroll, that you still have to pay a service to have.
Yes.
Now, if I have...
Rooster Teeth doesn't have a service pay?
No. Okay. It's all online. It's fine. As far as I know. But Crunchyroll...
Has its own service that you have to pay monthly, yeah.
But if it gets into HBO Max, does that mean that's all included? And does that mean I get my up-to-date anime?
Possibly, yeah. Possibly, yes.
Bro, that's
again, this is very early announcement. My assumption would be this: either Crunchyroll, because Crunchyroll is added, it says it's going to be part of HBO.
Yeah.
Warner clearly has either stock in it or owns most of it.
Yeah, I don't know. I have to look into that.
And so Crunchyroll is going to be probably, will they make the entire HBO Max price for the year or monthly a little more expensive? Maybe.
I'm fine with paying.
It may be like, instead of arguably like $10 a month, it may be $15, or instead of $70 for the year, it's $85 or something. But that portion goes to, like, let's say Crunchyroll to continue running its own thing if people just want Crunchyroll or whatever the case. But it could also just be included, and if you're already getting HBO, you just get it and you have it.
Like I said before, with Hulu and Spotify.
Exactly. Like, it just becomes it gets absorbed by this. So
this is a power move.
This is a massive power move, and it's an intelligently smart power move as well, because DC alone, you're going to get, arguably all the Bruce Timm stuff.
Yeah.
Right? You're going to get all the DC animated movies, which is huge, which sell millions of copies. You're going to get all the regular movies, right? Your Dark Knights, your Supermans, your Justice League, whatever. You're going to get your shows. You're going to get the DC Universe app shows. We don't know how many. We do know Doom Patrol's one of them, though. That alone should be a seller, because it's a great show. You're going to get your CW shows. So you're going to get your Arrow. You're going to get your Flash. You're going to get your Legends.
And the new CW stuff is going to be through.
You're going to get your Batwoman. Brilliant. You're going to get your Riverdale and the spinoff series they're doing for that. So,
with Josie.
Yeah, with which I forget the name of it. Kate Kane.
Yeah, they're in New York and they're like trying to be.
So then you're also going to get Cartoon Network, which to me says Adventure Time,
Samurai
Jack, which that's Adult Swim though.
Oh yeah.
But you're gonna get like maybe older cartoons like Rocco, not Rocco's Modern Life. What's the scary?
Codename Kids Next Door.
Codename Kids Next Door. Courage the Cowardly Dog.
Cowardly Dog.
Older stuff like that. HBO content. They have Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
And Friends. Two of
And
arguably
Friends.
the biggest sitcoms
So
out in the
I'm not a
world.
fan of Friends.
But
But Friends is huge. Like, not HBO. Netflix paid Warner Brothers, I think, upwards of a couple $100 million to get Friends on Netflix.
Friends is huge.
Which is insane, especially for a show that hasn't been on the air in almost 15 years.
I think Office is better.
I do too. So
Friends is still very good. I've only said that because I've watched Friends 3 times through.
Not a Friends fan, but regardless, Erica is a Friends fan. That's huge. That's
She's
gonna
a
be on
fan
this.
of Friends?
She's a fan of Friends. Yes.
We all should be friends of friends.
Friends of Friends.
Friends of friends. That's fast.
Friends of Friends.
No, Looney Tunes is going to be... I'm so happy Looney Tunes.
Looney Tunes,
That means
which-
I could just... When I have kids, you know what they're going to be watching?
Oh.
Looney Tunes.
So
DC.
Looney Tunes you have as well, which is the Warner Brother, basically the Disney version of Warner Brothers kid stuff.
Real quick.
Yes.
I don't want you guys thinking
That
I'm
means
having
Space Jam.
kids anytime soon. Relax. I just said that in my head. It's not happening.
Anyway,
I'm poor.
so not only that, Warner Brothers stuff, that means Warner Brothers movies, that means Harry Potter. And we've talked about Harry Potter before.
Yeah.
Which I'll mention at the end. New Line Cinema's also a movie production company. CNN has a lot more content now that isn't just worldwide news.
A lot of people don't know that.
A lot of people don't know that. I started, actually, you should watch this too. It's phenomenal.
The Wire?
No, not The Wire. They're doing a 6-part documentary on CNN now called The Movies.
The movies?
Yes, and it goes through decades of movies and major film.
Oh, cool.
They just did the 80s last weekend. The next one's on tonight. I'm DVRing all 6. And they did the 80s, and they went through a bunch of movies and why they were this and how it meant in that decade and the political stuff and the societal aspects. Really interesting documentary. Tom Hanks is one of the producers on it.
No lie, I was thinking of doing research and writing a book about that, but now it's too late.
Yeah, but CNN, so CNN is doing more documentary stuff. They're doing their own television series stuff.
That's awesome.
That'll be on HBO Max. TNT, a lot of shows on TNT.
A lot.
A lot of shows.
So-
as well as the NBA playoffs. So who knows? You might get sports on there.
Here's the thing.
TBS is baseball
DC,
playoffs.
Is Marvel is Disney worried?
No. Netflix is worried.
Netflix is worried.
Disney's not worried. Disney will be fine.
I agree.
Disney has its own thing that, again, we kind of went through the Disney Plus side of this a couple months ago, right?
Yeah.
Where we named everything, and this is what they're going to have, and new content. My question for this,
Okay, I'm
before we
ready.
get to Netflix and stuff,
I have a theory with Netflix, but go ahead.
TBS, very basic. Conan O'Brien's big for them. You're gonna have your Conan on there, your night talk show. You're
There's a
gonna
bunch
have
of stuff,
a bunch of other stuff, movies. True TV. What's the comedy show? That's on there with Brian Quinn. Impractical Jokers.
Practical Jokers is fantastic.
That'll be on there. And obviously your CW shows we talked about. Cartoon Network, Adult Swim. Rick and Morty will be on HBO Max as a Warner Brother property by itself.
Oh, you smart son of a gun.
You know what I mean? Family Guy. All of it.
South Park.
No, not
Wait,
South Park.
Comedy Central.
Comedy Central. But Crunchyroll, all the animes. Rooster Teeth, Red versus Blue.
Not all the animes, a lot of the
A
animes.
lot of the animes. Rooster Teeth, Red versus Blue, and your Looney Tunes. So
And Ruby.
my question is this. With all of this content, and it's oh my God, Warner Brothers kind of figured this shit out. This is good. They can compete with Disney now. We have,
That's true.
DC's not dying, and Warner Brothers isn't
This
dying.
is the other side of the coin now.
You still need new original content
Yeah.
for this, which they did not announce the way Disney announced their new content with Mandalorian, with, Winter Soldier and Falcon.
I don't think they should have. I think what they did is better. Because DC, Warner Brothers, for people who are very in the know, and even just for your regular layman, all have that worry, right? About the content. This kind of shows, we're getting our act together. Everything's going to be here. You're going to have great access. It's going to be under HBO. You know it's going to be good stuff. Fine. I think after they figure this out, which they kind of seem like they have, then they could start making announcements later. Hey, you were all excited about HBO Max, right? Hey, we're creating this for it.
Well,
hey,
yeah.
I'm creating this. All the DC stuff you were all worried about?
Yeah.
Hey, it's coming here. I think they needed to do this announcement. They're like, hey, the ship is steady, cool, you're good. will announce new stuff down the road. I don't think they should have because I think it would have convoluted the message.
Okay. I'm okay with that, yeah. But I also think Warner Brothers and HBO Max now has an advantage Disney does not.
Such as?
So Disney has the advantage of property ownership, right? Mm-hmm. They own our childhood. They own our nostalgia. They own our massive money-making machines. They own Marvel. They own Lucasfilm and Star Wars.
And original Disney.
Pixar and original Disney stuff. They own, they have theme parks. They have cruise ships. They have everything.
They have Disney World.
Disney is conglomerate. But this has something they don't. HBO by itself.
Wizards?
Well, Wizards.
Oh, I think Disney has Wizards.
HBO, well, they have Fantasia.
Yeah.
But HBO
Wizards
by
of
itself.
Waverly Place? Sorry, I'm getting off topic.
I've said it. I said it 4 times. HBO by itself is something that Disney does not have, and that is premium cable network that automatically produces new content all the time. We're getting a Watchmen series at the end of this year.
Mm-hmm. Which is probably going to be here.
That's going to be there. We're getting, HBO pops out new series that win awards, that do great, comedies, dramas, fantasy stuff. All the new Game of Thrones shows, regardless of how good they are going to be, this is where you're going to be able to get them.
Oh, true.
You know what I mean?
True,
if you have the channel, or if you have this, that's it. So,
smart.
HBO is a machine of new content that you don't have to worry about, okay, we need an idea that has to involve the Marvel Universe. We have to do a Star Wars show. We have to do this many Marvel shows because we want people to buy this. We have to do this many things. We're going to throw in a Toy Story short for TV shows. We're going to throw in Disney movies here and shorts here. But we're going to make sure that the MCU connects here. For Warner Brothers, they're just sitting back and be like, hey, HBO, continue doing what you're doing.
Hey, Cartoon Network. Hey, everybody else.
And if we throw in, like we said, a Harry Potter TV show, we could focus all on that, right?
Fair
we
enough.
could focus
I'm
all on,
this.
whether Crunchyroll, whether or not, Dragon Ball makes a new series. That can, or is that only Funimation?
I think that's only Funimation.
Crunchyroll doesn't have DBZ?
No, so Crunchyroll had Funimation, and then there was a dispute with the.
There was a ownership dispute.
Yeah, I think they pulled Funimation out from it, but I think it might go back. I mean, with this, they might go back. I don't know.
But we'll know later on.
I gotta look more into that.
But that alone, your CW crossovers are happening. Looney Tunes. Disney has properties that are mostly movies, not TV. So Disney is crossing this threshold of we have to get into TV and start these new things. We've lived in TV.
Yeah.
All we are doing is moving all this together and letting them continue to do whatever the fuck they do all day.
That's fine, yeah.
And then go into the movie side of Warner Brothers, and we're going to add that stuff in later. So they actually have a big advantage with HBO alone and these other things, these other conglomerates that already make TV.
I think I agree with everything you're saying. I just don't think it's an advantage. I think that makes it a close to even playing field.
Well, I don't think it's it's not an advantage as far as we know the Disney properties and love it more. They still have to prove that they could do this as far as Warner. We know we're going to get the Disney Plus app regardless. We know Mandalorian's going to be the shit. We know we're going to watch every Marvel Cinematic Universe show that connects to Marvel.
I can show you the world.
You're going to have all the Disney movies you want. You're going to have all the, aspects of every single Pixar to Disney to whatever. I think, though, but this has something that's very unique. It's that TV show. They have, tenured veterans of TV.
Okay.
In a new TV app, right? I think it might be easier for them to work it out because HBO is so popular. As far as, yes, I know Disney's going to be way more popular. I still think Disney Plus is going to take over
and when you look
the
at
show aspect
the different,
of everything.
quote-unquote, production companies that are here, right? Let's call them that.
Way more diverse.
Correct. And a lot of them are used to creating their own content. Like you have DC's creating their own content, CNN, TNT, TBS, True TV, all creating their own content.
They're all television channels.
CBS, but they all have production companies creating their own stuff. And the Disney side of things, you have Disney's creating things, you have Marvel's creating things, you have Pixar, you have Lucas.
All under that Disney banner.
Yeah. But it's like 4 or 5. This has more active companies that are working to creating content.
And also the diversity of what they're creating.
True.
Too. Like Crunchyroll, Disney doesn't really have an anime thing.
No, well, they're gonna have their animated shows. That's gonna try to Yeah, but still, this has.
But like real anime content is kind of it.
No, they don't have. Yeah,
yeah.
They have this. They have the anime. They have the cartoons. They have the Looney Tunes.
They got to make new Looney Tune shows though. They have to.
They're making new ones now.
Are they really?
Yeah. That sounds good, but it's fine.
You're gonna have Space Jam on there.
Yeah, of course.
Got a Space Jam.
But like. In this, you have HBO, the gritty, things are dying. We see penises and we see boobs. And then we get all the way to it's Bugs Bunny. Like, they have a bigger range.
Yes.
So I think it's really cool. So with
think this is
Netflix,
awesome.
The Netflix side of things.
Ooh, yeah.
I understand Netflix is word. Cool. But I think Netflix has solidified itself. And I think it's going to be more of that quote-unquote indie kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. So, like, if we look at this in the comic book world, we have Disney is the Marvel. We have the Warner is the DC.
Yep.
We're going to have Netflix as like the Image.
Yes.
Like, you know what I mean? It's all going to be those unique, creator-driven owned products that are going to go there to seek to go to Netflix and have that unique taste. They might lose some viewership, sure, but I think it's going to be more of, I have this here. I'm going to have the three.
We have Stranger Things.
There's a lot of content that are out there now.
My question for you is
Comedy
this.
specials. Like, I think it's going to, you're going to have a household, and most households are going to own the three.
My question for you is this. We just heard that, like, Netflix has been starting to get like their creator-owned content up, right? Like they purchased the Mark Miller universe.
Mark Miller, is it Miller or Millar?
No, it's Miller actually. It's pronounced Miller. Yeah. My question is this: they just purchased the Sandman contract from Neil Gaiman to do a Sandman show.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's DC. How is HBO Max going to be like? Yeah, you get one season. And we're taking that shit back.
Yep.
You think so?
Yep. Not even a question. Or they might go into a thing where like, we'll keep it going and go have it on both. No, I don't, actually, it doesn't necessarily need to, because Sandman is not synonymous with DC to the layman.
Yeah.
To the average person.
You know what else Netflix has a lot of?
Umbrella Academy? Fantastic.
That, but murder things.
They do.
Like it's like murder documentaries, murder this, murder that. It's like it's basically like ID Discovery now. Like everything is murder.
You have something to tell me, Netflix?
But again, like so Netflix, people are like, oh, Netflix is done, Netflix is screwed. I don't think they are. I think they're in debt. I think actually these properties kind of being taken away is going to help a little with that debt, because you're not paying $500 million for Friends anymore, or $300 million for Marvel contracts, or for The Office. I think you're going to have a lot more like, okay, Netflix, what's your content, and what do you want to do to get unique content and new content? Like your Stranger Things is a very unique content.
You're going to have more and more individual creators seeking out, like if I'm a creator of a show, I'm trying to seek out a place where I could go to have my show aired.
Your home. Your show's home.
I'm like, all right, I have big Disney. I
got big Disney.
I have Warner. Or I have Netflix. It might be easier to go to Netflix. And Netflix is very hands-off.
Yeah.
That's one thing we know as following this. Netflix, like, all right, you do your thing. We'll check in. All right, maybe one or two things. All right, cool, you're good.
Like Castlevania, really good on Netflix.
Disney, kind of has like a guideline of what you can and cannot do.
Oh, totally.
But they also had different avenues. Like, maybe it goes to Hulu and this and that and the third.
Warner Hulu seems to be still doing its own thing though.
Yeah, I don't know.
We might see that down the line change, because we're starting to get like the Fox stuff.
Like with Hulu, but I don't know if you get Disney Plus, you don't have Hulu.
I don't think. At least we don't know yet.
Because I know if you get Hulu, you get Spotify. But if I get Disney Plus, do I get all three? I'm sure they have a package deal.
Maybe, yeah.
So that'd be fine.
But like, here's the other thing. So like, again, like, Netflix is already creating more content. Like they have The Witcher coming out.
Oh, that looks so
which looks
good.
Great.
They're trying to fill that Game of Thrones void.
Totally.
And they know if that series kicks off, which I think it's going to.
I think it'll be good.
They're going to be like, hey, yeah, you have the HBO. Game of Thrones is over. It's dead. And we have The Witcher.
Yep.
You got to see The Witcher.
I think that, and
Umbrella Academy's huge.
Well, they also still have other content. Like, CBS has its own app, CBS All Access, where you can only watch certain shows.
Yeah, I don't know that's the
like Twilight Zone and Star Trek Discovery. But Netflix still has like every Star Trek show on it. So like that hasn't gone away. Like certain things, people want to rewatch stuff. Like for certain fans of things, Netflix still has that. They have their movies are not very good. Like the Netflix selection of movies.
I can't care to disagree with that.
Like
there's a lot
some
of
Netflix. I mean, I'm sure there are like certain ones, but like they're not really known as much for their movie selection as far as like the TV show selection.
Are you saying the old movies that they have, or the Netflix TV, the Netflix created movies?
I'm saying the Netflix created movies.
There's a lot of good ones, I think.
I mean, agree to disagree.
I think you know what it is? They're low key.
Well, yeah, the marketing isn't great on them.
No,
but
there's very little.
Again, like I think that new Adam Sandler movie that came out for Netflix.
Oh, I like it. It was great.
30 million people watched it the first day. Like it was a crazy rating.
It was fun.
So like people are just like again, like also the aspect of like, do I just sit at home and watch a movie and take pauses and go pee and get food, or am I going to go to pay money?
I think Netflix is more known for movies. No,
it used to be when it came out.
Have you watched on Netflix Always Be My Maybe?
No.
It's a cute romantic comedy. It's good. It's really good, actually.
I'm not a romantic comedy fan. Oh. Yeah. Anyway.
Someone doesn't have love in their heart.
Easy there, Sora.
Yeah, guide you.
Keyblade. But
I'm gonna unlock your heart, my friend.
Oh, please stop touching me. For the love of God. But I think one of the big ones is
What's up?
Also for this classic shows that are kind of coming back around. Like Fresh Prince of Bel-Air airs on TV all the time. It's a show that will never go away. It's a great show that is just always funny, always great. And I think they're making like a movie called like a movie, like a spin-off movie now.
No.
About it, yeah.
Are they really?
I think so.
Let us know if you know.
So like I think stuff like that, and again, like we said, HBO, Watchmen's coming out later this year. Westworld's coming out next year again with like a brand new season that's extremely different. Which they teased at the end of Game of Thrones because they were like, please don't leave us. We swear we have more content. We don't know what's down the pipeline. A lot of shows just ended, like Veep just ended, so they're probably going to be looking for a new big comedy to fill that void. Won a bunch of awards.
What do you think Amazon's content, what do you think is going to happen? Do you think they're worried at all?
I think no, because Amazon is in the unique sense of Prime Video is only an additive to the Prime shipping. Right? So, like, if you have Amazon Prime, it counts for everything. You have the Prime Music, the shipping, you have access to their channel. I think, but Amazon is doubling down on Lord of the Rings. Mm-hmm. Amazon has the rights to Lord of the Rings.
Oh, they're also creating the Paper Girl show?
Creating the Paper Girl show. They have Jack Ryan, which was really good.
They have Neil Gaiman's, what is it? The Devil and the Angel, Good and Evil? Is that right?
Oh, Gods and Omens.
Gods and Omens.
But it was a miniseries.
Oh, wait. No, it's not done. They're not doing a second season?
Nope.
Oh, it's so good.
It was a miniseries.
Oh, God. It did so well. They could bring it back. They're going to bring it back.
People want it back. So they're really doubling down on Lord of the Rings. They're making their own Lord of the Rings show. Yeah. Which is going to be, I think, based before the main movies trilogy. Yeah. But not like it's like based between. I don't know if it's before the Hobbit movies or after.
I think it's after the Hobbit,
before Lord of the Rings,
because Hobbit was like almost like the beginning of time.
Exactly,
it was like really
early. So they have those, but they also are. Their Amazon is also doing a Lord of the Rings, I think, MMORPG now. They're delving into the video game side of it. I heard about this. So Lord of the Rings is going to be their big ticket item. Also, again, a void that fills a Game of Thrones hole. Middle Earth style show. So that show, it's going to be huge regardless because of the fan base. Almost like a Harry Potter, right? Yeah. So I think Amazon is so unique in that sense because it has, people are automatically paying for Prime even if they don't watch Amazon content.
Yeah, they still pay for Prime.
They're still paying for Prime to get that free 2-day
Amazon
shipping.
owns everything. So.
Exactly. Like they're going to pay to get that free 2-day shipping and Alexa or whatever else.
How long before Amazon buys Netflix? They bought Audible. They can do it.
I don't know.
If Amazon buys Netflix, that's going to be dangerous.
I don't know. I don't think that's going to happen personally. I don't think
Amazon's going to buy Best Buy. I mean, so come on.
I've heard about that,
no,
but
that's not a real thing. I don't know if it's a real thing.
I've heard rumors about that.
They're going to buy everything. That's fine.
I mean,
it's going to be three companies.
Yeah, but Amazon, the way their workers are treated is awful. So you do not want to work there.
I hear.
It's like borderline slavery.
I didn't say that.
It's bad. No, it's really bad what they do. There's if you want to learn more about that, watch John Oliver. He has a great expose on that. Also on HBO. They got that too. John Oliver's wins Emmys every year. I watch that show every week. That'll be on HBO Max. But yeah, I think this is a very big positive for Warner Brothers.
I'm excited.
I think this is exactly what they should have done. Again, this was not in my radar at all. I no problem admitting that. I thought it was going to go more the route of DC and Warner Brothers and expanding that app into more of a Warner Brothers.
You're not
theme.
the only one. I didn't, and a lot of other people did not either.
I never thought they would have touched HBO like this, and I think
they touched it dirty in the right way.
In the right way. It was consensual. And I think the HBO Max will be a big time player in this game of streaming services going forward. And, we know Disney's coming out later this year. This is going to come out early next year. Netflix will respond somehow. Their original content, again, Stranger Things just came out. It broke the record for streaming in the first, 4 days or something ridiculous. Like it was like 40 million plus. So it's going to be okay. It's just, it has to switch focuses, right?
Yeah.
Witcher's probably going to be huge. I'm going to watch that. Can't wait for that either.
All right, Chris, before we leave for the day.
Yes.
I want you to tell the kids at home.
Hello, kids.
What was the comic book of last week that you recommend?
No, one comic?
I'm going to limit us because we're running out of time.
Okay.
One comic, short reason why, and then we go to get some margaritas.
Margarita.
No, all right, ready?
I would have said, if I couldn't pick one, I would have said Event Leviathan number 2.
All right, but no. What is the one?
I'm going with Amazing Spider-Man number 25.
Woo!
It is an $8 62 3-page issue. It's huge.
That thick boy.
It's a massive book, and it sets up greatly this next kind of major arc for Spider-Man, Nick Spencer, and Ryan Ottley going forward.
Awesome.
There are a bunch of different writers and artists in this book. It's almost like a tribute issue. Wraps up what happened with Kraven very well.
Don't spoil the ending.
Which I won't. Wraps up that whole story arc and jumps into what we kind of started with Mysterio and this new character.
That bug guy.
Which we have a name for him.
The name?
Kindred.
Ooh.
And I have a theory because, well, I think a lot of people have this theory, but he keeps saying, like, he's almost in Peter's mind. He's like, you know me. Like, he's someone that Peter knows.
Your theory is?
I have 2 theories. My first theory is that it's someone who is dead brought back to life because he's like a mummified, wrapped in mummy like wraps almost, and like the teeth are kind of gnarly, and he has these like weird magic-ish powers, and he's got bugs all over him with like those centipede things. I think it could be Flash Thompson, who died as the anti-Venom.
Ooh.
In the Goblin arc. Maybe he got like
That'd be nice.
Maybe like evil Flash Thompson coming back.
Leftover Venom messed up his corpse and caused this mess with his mind.
Like anti-Venom, a little bit of a stretch.
I see it, but I don't like it.
My number 2, which I think is the better one, we've been seeing Mysterio kind of like in therapy. We've been seeing him kind of like losing it. What if this is a manifestation of Mysterio's mind because his mind is deteriorating? And it's actually Mysterio who is Kindred. It's an illusion, but he believes it's real because he's losing his mind. Because he's been in therapy. He's been in a psychiatric ward. He broke out. This guy's been controlling him. What if this whole thing is just Mysterio?
And Mysterio is controlling everybody
and
else.
Mysterio doesn't even know it's his own illusion because he's lost it.
I love the idea he doesn't know it's his own
right?
illusion.
Like he's actually broken down to the point where he's fooling himself.
Oh, man. And it's almost like a ventriloquist, like an alter ego is controlling him, and like he doesn't
it's
know.
like a voice inside of his head, and he manifests it into reality. Because we had a great Mysterio moment, almost like the movie in this book, where in the last issue we thought Mysterio was dead. We thought Kindred killed him.
Yeah,
but he actually killed his therapist, and Mysterio made himself look like the therapist who lived. And he's like, "Nice try, Quentin," and he turns back.
Oh,
and he's like, "I know it's you." Blah blah blah. So we had that aspect. We have MJ going back into acting. We had a good story with MJ and the new female Electro. Who's making new life choices. Peter kind of dealing with stuff. He's going back to school with Dr. Kirk Connors.
Lizard Man.
And getting his actual real doctorate, not the way that Superior Spider-Man and all that stuff happens. But it was really good, kind of like it set the stage for like, oh my god, how's this gonna like weave in and happen? And you know the Parker Luck's gonna be in there somehow. So yes, Amazing Spider-Man 25. It's an $8 issue. It's a heavy one. It's a thick book, but it's 60 pages. It goes through like 4 or 5 different storylines and kind of sets the stage while ending that first major arc. Same team on it, not like an ending, but it ends that first major storyline to begin this next one. And from issue 1 with Mysterio and Kindred is going to go on.
All right, guys. That wraps up this episode of the Jersey Comic Crew. Thank you so much for staying around and listening. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you give a like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the bell on the bottom right so that way you always get a notification when a new episode comes out. If you're listening to us, thank you for listening. Make sure you give us a review on iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your podcast. It really helps us out.
Does.
You can follow us on our social media pages, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, and keep the conversation going there or in the comments below. And as always, I'm Rob Moran.
And I'm Chris Heller.
And we'll see you next time.
JerseyComicGuru.podbean.com. That's a nice day's work right there, sir.